Hi gang, Mean Gene Okerlund here on My 24, and you're watching the Pro Wrestling Report. All of the news about wrestling, not only here in Milwaukee, but throughout the world. Stay up to date. Join us every Saturday night.
Tonight on a special Survivor Series edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime TV, we take a look at the shift in WWE from internet darlings to established stars and a full preview of tomorrow night's WWE Survivor Series on pay-per-view. But first, let's look at this week's In-Depth with David and Damian. Take it away, boys.
Hello again, everyone. Damian Nelson sitting alongside David Octavius Tiberius, the alleged backyard one-ton knockout Divas Hardcore Heavyweight Championship Hall of Famer hero. Here on November 23rd. It's Survivor Series Eve.
Don't be jump-starting us right now.
Survivor Series Eve, and it's time to go in-depth. And this one is going to be an interesting discussion, so follow along closely and ensure you are hearing the words that are coming out of our mouths. WWE presents the Survivor Series tomorrow night on pay-per-view, and the main events tell the story of what may be a switch in philosophy by WWE. That switch is going back to featuring big talent on the top of the card. We've seen events over the past few months featuring the likes of Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and CM Punk. In recent comments, Vince McMahon has alluded to the fact that these attractions are not resonating with the audience. Tomorrow night, you'll see Big Show, Randy Orton, and John Cena featured in the headlining matches, along with Alberto Del Rio. You will also see CM Punk and Daniel Bryan in, I guess, what you could only call a mid-card match with the Wyatts. But this is actually a very good thing for all parties involved. Putting your big and recognizable stars in the headlining matches translates into pay-per-view buys and ticket sales. Like it or not, it's the truth. Putting stars that are well-liked but not as big in other matches makes the event that much more appealing. Think about Savage Steamboat, WrestleMania 3. Now, I don't think there's a soul on earth who bought WrestleMania 3 for that match alone, but it's still the match that all of us talk about. It's the same thing. The unfortunate reality is that each star has their place on the card. We, as hardcore fans, may not agree with those placements, but Survivor Series is the perfect example of how these placements can work. Let's talk a bit more about the refocus from the internet darlings to the established big names. And before we do that, David Hero, I want to say...
You're going there with all this?
I want to say this. I want to make this crystal clear, all right?
Ooh la la,
crystal
amigo.
clear. I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Ms. Lewinsky. This is not about size. This is not about size, David Hero.
Why are you trying to tell me that?
This is simply about the stature, the presence, the perception. You said last week on Primetime about John Cena walking into a room.
He takes over.
Let's start with CM Punk. He
Really?
was the WWE champion for well over a year. Started with one of the greatest fan events in history, Money in the Bank in Chicago. That was a surreal night, David Hero, was it not?
It was ridiculous.
The audience reaction, the pledge, the people behind CM Punk. However, during much of his reign, by his own admission and WWE's admission, he played second fiddle to John Cena.
He did the entire time, because John Cena was still, even if it was against Kane, was in the main event of a pay-per-view. John Cena is the face. He's the larger-than-life personality that the WWE has been building around for the last 10 years. They haven't invested that much into CM Punk. They've given him opportunities, but not the same opportunities as John Cena.
You've said in the past that the belts are props.
Absolutely.
WWE Championship, do you see it as a prop?
Yes.
So, in essence, then, being WWE Champion means what in this day and age?
It doesn't mean that they're the top money guy anymore.
Whereas it always did.
It was Austin. It was Rock. When Mick Foley was hot as Mankind, for his 19 days, I think he was the champ. You would give the belt to the guy that drew the most money. John Cena really doesn't need a belt at all for anything, because he's always going to be the top guy. But right now, WWE is in just such a weird spot, because Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, two guys that last month were in the top two matches on the pay-per-view, have now been dropped to, you got to say it's mid-card.
But not in a bad way, is it being said as mid-card. At least not from my standpoint. Everyone has their place.
I agree.
Go back to Steamboat Savage.
But how
they
do
had
you
their
go
place.
from 1, 2 to 6? And it's not
But,
like
were they 1, 2?
it's not like Bray Wyatt is in the match, who is the star of the Wyatts.
Mm-hmm.
It's the other 2 guys that are involved in it. So, but maybe by doing so, they're going to elevate the Wyatts. You would like to believe.
But a Punk-Bryan pairing is fairly intriguing to me.
Punk Bryan are the tag team champions.
I don't have to force myself to believe in a CM Punk or a Daniel Bryan in this current configuration.
No, not at all.
Whereas when they
but
were,
where do they go? Where do you go with CM Punk and Daniel Bryan? They're not going to go feud with Cody and Goldust.
You don't know.
They're not going to. They might go into. They can't wrestle the Shield again. I mean, how many times is that going to happen?
Specifically about Daniel Bryan, he rose to fame at WrestleMania 28 by losing the World Heavyweight Championship to Sheamus.
Yes.
Which might be the best moment of his career, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
He changed his look. He became distinguished. And I don't mean in a good way. I mean, he distinguished himself as somebody different. He became WWE champion. However, at the end of the day, Daniel Bryan's reigns as WWE champion will never and have never mattered. They've been short reigns. What do you have a title for? A day? A couple hours here and there?
Is it safe to compare his reigns to those of Mankind?
I think so.
I think
so, absolutely.
As a fan favorite, internet darling.
Christian had the championship for 3 days, remember?
Yes.
Well, technically 3 days.
Oh,
but-
Dolph Ziggler had it for a day. You know.
And Dolph Ziggler's next. He rose to fame with his Money in the Bank cash-in the night after WrestleMania 29. Again, an amazing moment. There's a lot of times when you go back, you watch wrestling, and you watch those things that happened
People
that you
love a
take
good
for
cash-in.
granted. Absolutely.
People love, I mean, even when The Miz by fluke won the title that
when he
one
cashed
time.
in and beat CM Punk, I believe it was, for the championship.
I think whoever he beat, yeah. You know, Dolph Ziggler, all the talent in the world.
Let's talk a bit more about Ziggler when we come back, but this
You're cutting me
conversation
off?
will continue about the return to big men in wrestling, if you will, and why it's either a good thing or a bad thing. And remember, keep the conversation going during the timeout here on the Survivor Series weekend edition of the Pro Wrestling Report, primetime Saturday night.
Wow, can't wait to hear what you guys think about Dolphy. Share your comments on tonight's stories by following along on Twitter and using the hashtag PWRTV, and Damien and Dave will interact with you during the broadcast. Coming up after the break, we continue discussion on the shift in WWE from internet darlings to established stars. Ardo Cal has this week's The Little Things, and we bring you a full preview of tomorrow night's WWE Survivor Series on pay-per-view.
Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh. PWR is coming for a huge Royal Rumble kickoff party featuring Big Sexy Kevin Nash. That's right, the night before the WWE Royal Rumble in Pittsburgh. Come to PWR's kickoff party featuring all kinds of shenanigans and Big Sexy Kevin Nash. Tickets available right now at PWRshow.com. PWRshow.com. The Royal Rumble kickoff party comes to Pittsburgh.
Thank you, Linda, and welcome back indeed to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime. Continuing our conversation as we go in-depth looking at WWE's return to big men, the big stars. And again, this isn't about size, folks. This is not about CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler being smaller in physical nature than the Big Show, Randy Orton, or John Cena. But it's literally comparing where they were to where they are and how, at least I think, that everybody's sort of in the places they need to be in, because the fact of the matter is John Cena sells pay-per-views and sells tickets in the arena. Randy Orton sells pay-per-views and sells tickets in the arena. Big Show sells pay-per-views and sells tickets in the arena, because it's not about us, the hardcore fans.
It's the casual
It's
fans.
about the casual and the mainstream. And
That's where the money's made.
exactly. And that's where the money always has been made. It's the business that has changed and made things a bit different. So before we took that time out, we were talking a little bit about Dolph Ziggler, who, as we talked about, that amazing night after WrestleMania 29 when Perfection cashed in and became the World Heavyweight Champion. However, shortly after that, Jack Swagger and a kick to the head would cause a concussion. And Ziggler would be out with injury.
And he's never recovered.
He's never recovered. However, when he came back, he lost the title back to Alberto Del Rio in his return matchup, which again was the right thing to do for Dolph Ziggler at the time, not because he lost, but because it created a story to care about.
Told a great story.
but he's fizzled since. And Dolph Ziggler, an amazing talent, David Hero. They may not get any better in the ring than Dolph Ziggler right now. However, Dolph Ziggler standing side by side with John Cena, Dolph Ziggler standing side by side with Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler standing side by side with the Big Show.
You got to be careful because then people are going to say, well, what about Shawn Michaels and Diesel? Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon, Bret Hart and Undertaker. Different time. It's a different company.
It is a different time. And I'm a huge fan of all three of these performers. The challenge is that they were never deemed to be the, and I don't say this to be funny, but the face of the company.
Here's what you have to look at. The WWE is no longer World Wrestling Federation. It is World Wrestling Entertainment. And what they want is someone that can go on Jay Leno and sit on the chair.
Miz did.
But yes, The Miz did, but his background got him there. I don't know if Dolph Ziggler can do that. I don't know if CM Punk can do that. I don't know if Daniel Bryan can do that. We've seen CM Punk do interviews on news stations in his hoodie. It's not the larger-than-life presence that you look for.
And it's nothing against CM Punk. As a matter of fact,
that's who he
their
is.
size and stature are not much different from the likes of a Bret Hart, a Shawn Michaels, or even a Bob Backlund. So what is different?
Well, Bob Backlund was never on Jay Leno.
So what is different? The discussion here is not about size alone. It actually has nothing to do with their size. It has everything to do with the perception and representation. The major wrestling companies need to have champions that look and act like they are champions. And again, I want to make this crystal clear. I enjoy the homegrown, basically, star that is CM Punk, because he spent a lot of his early days wrestling here in Milwaukee. He's a tremendous star, tremendous talent. Daniel Bryan, tremendous star, tremendous talent. Dolph Ziggler, tremendous star, tremendous talent. But
at the end of the day, and I'm going back to what I just talked about with guys being on different talk shows in the news, you don't want your star to come up to the shoulder of the weatherman.
These are things that are thought about and discussed.
It's larger than life. How many times have we've talked to executives from both companies
at the same time at one point.
Exactly, that have said when Brock Lesnar walks into a crowded bar, you're going to move to the side and let him pass. And pick whatever indie or internet sensation you want. Ziggler, Punk, Daniel Bryan, Ambrose, any one of them. If they walk into the bar, are you going to move to the side the same way as you would for Brock Lesnar? It's all about perception, and pro wrestling is a perception business.
It's all about the attraction.
It is an attraction. Look at the biggest stars in the history of pro wrestling. Andre the Giant, Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Gorgeous George.
Shawn Michaels falls in that category, David. I keep bringing him up, and I keep saying that for comparison. Shawn Michaels is a different beast. He was larger than life in personality.
Shawn Michaels is not a top 10 revenue guy. He's number one wrestler in the world. I'll give you that. But as far
the jackets, the leather coats, the gloves,
no.
necklaces.
You may have bought that stuff, but most people. I'm telling you right now, the guys that draw the money: Steve Austin, John Cena, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Gorgeous George, Bruno Sammartino, Goldberg. It's a big difference. I can tell you right now, Shawn Michaels never once had a $25 million year the way Steve Austin did.
In closing of this segment, all the talents we've talked about are amazing in-ring performers, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't discount, nor does Dave discount.
No, I love Shawn Michaels.
They make.
I'm a Shawn Michaels guy.
The sacrifice that CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and the likes of which make when they step in the squared circle to entertain you or I. This discussion was a clear shift. If you look at the last 6 months and you look at tomorrow night's Survivor Series and who WWE is focused on and why that focus might be shifting. So keep the conversation coming along, and we'll keep the discussion going on this subject.
So apparently you're saying size doesn't matter. Interesting discussion for sure. Talk about tonight's show online with us on Twitter using the hashtag PWRTV, and Damien and Dave will continue to interact with you during the broadcast. Also, be sure to check out PWR Live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central, streaming live at PWRshow.com. You even have a chance to call in and ask questions of the PWR team each week on PWR Live, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. at PWRshow.com. Coming up after the break, Arda has this week's Little Things, a special message from one of the stars of Blizzard Brawl, DHHS, and a preview of tomorrow's Survivor Series. But first, we have some special fan-created video of the PWR stars in WWE 2K14 when we come back here on PWR Primetime TV on My 24 Milwaukee.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
If you've been hurt in a car wreck, the insurance company may try to stop you from getting what's fair.
After my car wreck, the insurance company just wasn't helping me, so I said stop, and I called Gruber Law Offices.
Be careful. Call us right away.
They better be careful. Now I've got Gruber Law Offices.
Call us. Let us get started on your case right now.
They put the green light on my case and got me $65,000.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Call 276-6666.
Great Lakes Championship Wrestling presents Blizzard Brawl 9, Saturday night, December 7th at the Waukesha County Expo Center. See a triple threat match with Shane Helms, Matt Hardy, and Ken Anderson. WWE Hall of Famers Howard Finkel and Ron Simmons for a special appearance. The GLCW Championship, Al Snow versus Joseph Parks. GLCW Tag Team Champions Demolition also in action. TNA Champion Robbie E has an open challenge and more. Special meet and greets. Tickets start at $10. BlizzardBrawl.com. BlizzardBrawl.com. Get your tickets now.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Making his way to the ring from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the WWE Champion, Demon Nelson.
Both superstars look ready. I'm excited for this one.
Welcome to the PWR Event Center, brought to you by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Ring of Honor Wrestling is returning to Milwaukee's Turner Hall on March 7th, 2014. Tickets just went on sale and are available now at ROHWrestling.com. The PWR team is coming to Pittsburgh for the 2014 WWE Royal Rumble, along with Big Sexy Kevin Nash. In addition to live coverage of the Royal Rumble, PWR will host a special event with Big Sexy Kevin Nash as part of the Big Weekend. All the details can be found at PWRshow.com, and we'll see you at the Royal Rumble. We're just a few short weeks away from Blizzard Brawl 9 at the Waukesha County Expo Center, and will feature appearances by WWE Hall of Famers Ron Simmons and Howard Finkel, along with a special triple threat match featuring Mr. Anderson, Matt Hardy, and this man.
December 7th. Blizzard Brawl 9, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. There's a hurricane coming. Special triple threat challenge match where I face not one but two opponents. Mr. Anderson and Matt Hardy, two men, two citizens I know very well. But rest assured, when you're facing the ultimate crime fighting champion, there will be no mercy. So do not worry about a blizzard. You need to worry about the hurricane.
Now that should be an amazing matchup. A portion of the Blizzard Brawl 9 proceeds will benefit the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, and you can get your tickets now for the December 7th event online at blizzardbrawl.com. That's it for this week's Event Center presented by Gruber Law Offices. And now let's find out what Arda's got for us in this week's The Little Things.
Thank you very much, guys. Of course, hashtag the little things. Dean Ambrose on Raw during that tag team match gets a tag from Eric Rowan. And to sell the fact that Eric Rowan is a much larger guy and a much stronger guy, he gets the tag and shakes his hand like, holy crap, man, you're so strong. I love that. A perfect example of the details that matter in professional wrestling and in WWE. Here's one from Dragon Gate USA, my old stomping grounds. Shout out to Lenny Leonard and Gabe Sapolsky. Chris Hero takes on Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano gives him the suck it, a pedigree, and Chris Hero kicks out at 1. I love it. Credit to Rob Naylor for bringing that to my attention. Hashtag thank you Naylor and hashtag the little things because they matter. And by the way, I did this entire segment in Zubaz pants. And guess what? They match my shirt. Zubaz. Hashtag Zubaz.
Making his way to the ring from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, David Hero. Oh, the WWE Universe, letting him hear it.
Thank you, PWR superfan Jonathan Orchard, for those tremendous videos. You can actually download David and Damian right now in the game. Coming up after the break, we preview tomorrow's WWE Survivor Series pay-per-view. Will John Cena leave as world champion? Find out what we think in just 60 seconds right here on My 24 Milwaukee.
Who do you trust when selling your gold, silver, and diamonds? Robert Hack Diamonds was secret shopped by the media, and they found out that Robert Hack Diamonds offer the most for their jewelry. At Robert Hack Diamonds, we'll treat you like family. Shop around before you sell. If we can't beat a competitor's offer on your scrap gold, we'll give you $20 just for trying.
Bring your gold, I will get you some money.
Robert Hack Diamonds is located at 76 in Layton and Greenfield, and our newest location on the corner of Green Tree and Port Washington Road in Glendale.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report Prime Time here on the Survivor Series weekend. It's a Survivor Series edition, and it's time for Be the Booker, David Hero. This segment is where you pretend as if you are the booker. You've got the pencil, you've got the paper, you've got the matches in front of you, and we're going to focus on 3 main matches, the 3 main matchups, the 3 main attractions, if you will, for Survivor Series tomorrow night on pay-per-view. Firstly, Daniel Bryan, CM Punk, team up to take on the Wyatts. No Bray.
No. And it's going to be a great match.
Absolutely.
Because Daniel Bryan and CM Punk are 2 guys that can go, and they're with 2 big giants, so they're going to cause a lot of motion in the ring.
How are you going to book it?
Well, you have to have Daniel Bryan and CM Punk go over. They have to beat them. It's going to obviously be a clean pinfall. You have 2 former world champions.
With all the shenanigans. And by the way, this match by now could be, because we're taping a couple days before Saturday, could be a traditional Survivor Series matchup involving the Usos, the Broads, and or the Shield.
No, because I don't see that happening.
Okay.
Simply because Punk and Bryan are bigger stars, and they're
not than Cody Rhodes. Shut your mouth.
They're not going to put themselves in that spot. What? Punk and Bryan are bigger stars.
Cody outshines them.
Okay.
How are you going to book the match?
I'm going to book it that Daniel Bryan and CM Punk, they make both guys tap out.
Really?
Why not?
Wow.
You'll have the Anaconda Vice, and you'll have the Yes Lock on there.
Where do you go from there with those 4 people?
Well, they're going to keep going. I mean, they're going to keep going. Listen, they can win, but whatever happens after the match is how the Wyatts can get their heat back.
All right. The World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line, ladies and gentlemen, as John Cena defends against Alberto Del Rio. And this will be no arm wrestling contest. This will be a match.
Boy, this is a match that I hope and pray is the last time I see John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio.
Really?
It's happened so many times. There's no investment in this match anymore. There's no heat. There's no wants or desires for anyone to want to see this match. What I'm hoping for is give Del Rio some time off. Have John Cena finally destroy somebody. Just beat him.
Wow.
Yes. Almost put Del Rio on the shelf. The only problem is they need Del Rio as a heel on the SmackDown brand. But, you know, it's a no-brainer. They're going to be in Boston. It's going to be John Cena getting the big hometown victory.
It's in Boston?
It's in Boston.
Really?
Yeah.
Did not know that. Well, but John Cena typically loses in his hometown. Hero.
And you know what? You got to wonder, will there be a screw job at this year's Survivor Series?
Daddy's coming home? Vince McMahon?
But you know what? They need to get John Cena. They need to get John Cena in the right spot. WrestleMania is not that far away.
4.5 months.
Get him rolling right now. John Cena over Alberto Del Rio.
What, though?
Doesn't matter yet.
If you had to pick right now, if you had to say John Cena wins tomorrow night at Survivor Series, he wins at TLC, he wins at the Rumble, he wins at Elimination Chamber, who is on the other side of that ring against John Cena at WrestleMania 30 in the Superdome?
The guy that I still want to see Cena face is The Undertaker. That's the match I want to see. Why can't Taker win the Rumble and challenge John Cena?
He absolutely can. But is the outcome of that match too obvious to everyone?
No, not at
WrestleMania?
all. No, because I think John Cena can beat The Undertaker.
Why? Once he got past 20, there's no reason for him to lose.
Because even Cal Ripken ended his streak.
Who's that?
Cal Ripken, shortstop, Baltimore
Junior
Orioles.
or senior?
Junior. You're too much.
The Big Show will take on Randy Orton for the WWE Championship. And, well, you got to expect some shenanigans in this one, too.
Maybe here's the screw job. Maybe Triple H has been secretly aligned. No, he can't be aligned with the Big Show, and he's the guy that beats Randy Orton. This is a match that I don't think anybody wants to see either, to be quite honest with you.
As we talked about earlier, a lot of casual fans do.
Well,
they want to see the stars. They don't want to see the match.
Right. And Big Show has to beat Randy Orton. Unless they change it up where it's a no DQ and the Shield can get involved.
Big Show has to beat Randy Orton.
He does. Otherwise, all this nonsense leading up to this match means absolutely nothing.
Unless there's shenanigans.
But even shenanigans cheapens everything. I mean, Big Show needs
Their last 2 or 3 pay-per-views
Big
have ended with
Show
shenanigans.
needs to get his revenge. And what better way to get the revenge than to beat Randy Orton and take Triple H's title, and now he holds it hostage. I like the Big Show to beat Randy Orton at the Survivor Series.
John Cena beats Alberto Del Rio. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk defeat the Wyatts, and Randy Orton loses the WWE Championship to Big Show. If you were writing Survivor Series
which hurts Randy Orton, but I think there's been way too much damage done to him already.
Tomorrow night, Survivor Series, we'll be covering it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/PWR Show. We'll be live tweeting and talking about it on our respective Twitter pages as well. For that one, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report Primetime Saturday night. Next week, we'll be back here reviewing Survivor Series. So enjoy the pay-per-view tomorrow night, and we'll see you then.